So, these are 7 pieces of brutally honest advice I wish someone gave me when I started my copywriting journey a year ago. So, if you pay attention for the next 8 minutes, it will save you months of frustration and probably thousands of dollars. The first piece of advice is either go all in or don't even try. Because if you think you can treat it like a side hustle and make 5k per month, it's not going to happen. Especially with AI and now everyone trying to become a copywriter, the market is going to get crowded, and it's going to get crowded with mediocre writers. 80% of beginners will not get clients, and even if they do, it will be small one-off projects here and there. Because if you want to make 4 figures consistently with copywriting, if you want your clients to pay you 2k, 3k, 5k every month, you need to have a deeper understanding of persuasion beyond the basics. You can't just stay stuck on things like scarcity, urgency, NSB. You need to understand deeper concepts like awareness levels, market sophistication. You need to understand how funnels work, how everything ties into one another. And the only way to do this is to go all in. You can't just treat it like a side hustle. You can't do this by just writing 1 to 2 emails every day or studying one sales page on Swiped every day. You need a period of time in your life, at least 30 to 90 days, where you're obsessed with copy and marketing, where all you do is study copy, you write copy, you do outreach, you play around with tools like ConvertKit, Klaviyo, Beehive. All you watch on YouTube are videos related to copywriting and marketing. You listen to podcasts about copywriting and marketing. You sign up to email list and study their emails every day. You need to have that level of obsession for a period of time in your life. That's how you get ahead of the bottom mediocre 80% and reach the point where you're making 4 figures consistently. You can't shortcut this process. The second piece of advice is to expand your time horizon. Because if you have no prior experience with making money online or freelancing in general, if all you have been doing till now in your life is mugging up notes from a book and writing exams, then there's going to be a huge learning curve when you switch to this online business thing. You'll need to unlearn a lot of things that you were taught in school. You need to adopt new mental habits, new mental frameworks, and I can list this mental shifts down for you, but unless you experience them yourself, unless you fail and learn from that failure, you will not understand their true meaning. And that's why you need to expand your time horizon and give yourself permission to fail and learn. Because many copywriters will quit within the first 6 months if they're not making 5k already. They see guys on the internet making 10k in 30 days, 70k in 50 days, or whatever this guy's flex. But what they don't see is usually these guys, they already have a marketing background, or they already have a business background, or they have connections in the industry. Even for me, before copywriting for 2 years, I tried a bunch of other stuff like graphic design, video editing, Instagram theme pages, all that stuff. So I already had some of the mental shifts needed. I knew it was going to take time. I knew how to deal with rejection, how to learn things on your own, how to manage your time, how to avoid procrastination, all that stuff. And even then, it took me around 8 months to get to the 5k mark. So if you're completely new to the make money online space, don't see all the huge numbers and fall for the guys who tell you that you can make 10k in 30 days just writing emails for 1 hour every week, even if you have no experience and all that shit. It's going to take time because you not only need to learn copywriting, you need to become the kind of person who can make money with copywriting. And the only way to speed up this process is to get a mentor. But if you pick the wrong mentor, you will not only slow down your progress, but you'll also lose your money. So when picking a mentor, first thing you want to make sure is that they are still active in the field, that they're still working with clients, because copywriting is a dynamic field. The market doesn't stay the same. The outreach tactics that worked in 2024, they may not work that well in 2025. That's why you need to learn from someone who's still active in the field today and who's still playing the game. This is why guys like Iman Gadzhi get a bad reputation, because he stopped running his agency around 2018-19, and then he made most of his money from 2020 to 2024 by selling courses on how to run an agency. But most of his tactics, they were outdated because they worked in 2018, but in 2024, 2023, they weren't that relevant. That's why he gets a bad reputation. And the same thing happens in the copywriting space. So you got to pick your mentor wisely. But don't expect just because you got a mentor that clients are going to start falling in your lap. You're still going to have to do the work. Your mentor can show you the path, but you still have to walk it. Because with tactics, you might land a client or two. But if you don't have the character to handle those clients, to deliver results for them, to manage your time, to stay focused, then you won't be able to retain the clients long term. So instead of just chasing tactics, focus on becoming the type of person who can make money with copywriting. Like, what are the actions and beliefs that the person would have? What are the daily tasks that they would perform? What would their daily routine look like? How many hours would they spend practicing copy? How many hours would they spend studying copy every day? How many outreaches would they send? How much effort would they put into their work? Would they just use ChatGPT for everything, or would they actually do deep research? So build the character and the results will follow, because the tactics are just the final 20%. Without the character, the tactics won't work in the long term. The fifth piece of advice, which might be a bit controversial, is to avoid the hard work trap. Now, this is not an excuse to avoid working hard, but most people have the wrong idea of what hard work means. Because just sitting in front of the laptop for 8 hours every day doesn't mean that you're working hard. Because in that sense, people who work labor jobs, people who work at construction sites, they are the hardest workers. They work for hours every day, hard physical labor. That doesn't mean that they get the best results. So don't confuse being busy for hard work. Because if you're sitting in front of your laptop for 8 hours, but for 6 out of those 8 hours, you're doing random shit like watching YouTube tutorials, reading articles on copywriting, and basically anything except outreach and writing copy, you're not doing stuff that's actually going to help you move closer to your goals. You're just wasting your time. And even with writing copy and outreach, if you're staying stuck in your comfort zone, if you're writing for the same 2 to 3 niches you're comfortable with, you're not going to see results. Because guess what, everyone who gets into copywriting, almost all of them have the same hobbies and interest. All of them are interested in almost the same niches like lifting, self-improvement, and all the normy stuff. So if you're going to write for only those niches, you're going to be reaching out to the same prospects who have been outreached to thousands of times already. Instead, if you want to actually work hard, then explore new niches, study new niches, find prospects that nobody is reaching out to. That's actual hard work. That's out of your comfort zone. That's what hard feels like. Because writing the same PAS or HSO email about weight loss and nofap for the 18th time, that's not hard work. It's tiring, it's exhausting, but it's not hard. So reframe your idea of what hard work actually is. It is work that forces you to get out of your comfort zone. It's not about sitting in front of your laptop for 8 hours and repeating the same tasks every day for months. And the hardest of all works is to think for yourself, because nobody wants to do this. Everyone wants to outsource their thinking. They want the media or meme pages or even worse AI to tell them what they should think, what's right, what's wrong. Like nobody wants to fucking use their brain anymore. That seems to be the hardest job at the moment. So if you can do that, if you can think clearly, if you can think for yourself without having to be spoon-fed manuals, opinions, or templates, you'll get ahead of 90% of people just like that. And the last piece of advice is to take every advice with a grain of salt, because everyone can only give advice based on their experience and what worked for them. Advice isn't universal truth. Take those which apply to your situation and discard the ones that don't.